And welcome, race fans, to another action-packed DIRTcar iRacing Street Stocks series here at Lanier. Racing action is going to be just as hard, just as fast, and just as intense, if not more so, in tonight's racing event here in the Big Block. As we had stated, we are here at Lanier at Over the Limit for the Super DIRTcar iRacing Big Block Modified Series for the Nerd TV 35. Again, Lanier poses its own challenges. We were kind of surprised in the street stock event race. It was just held not but 15, 20 minutes ago, just concluded. The race and groove and the race and line during the race surprised us a little bit, and we'll get to talking about that here shortly. But as always, I am Dustin Longston, also known as Ballistic, and alongside me, calling all the racing action, as he always does, with his own style and flair, is the legend, the myth, the man, Mr. J. Stan, Jeremy Stanley. How are we doing tonight, buddy?
Still doing awesome, man. Looking forward to Nerd TV's first race sponsor. We're over the limit here at Lanier. It's going to be a great race. Practice was awesome. Really excited.
It is. It's going to be really good racing tonight. Before we go and start talking about the track, as qualifying has concluded, let's go over our starting grid real quick before we start talking about some of our track predictions here.
So for Heat 1, that'll be broken down, on the even numbers and odd numbers. So for the Heat 1, we'll have Jordan Gage taking front spot. Alongside him on the outside will be Justin Pentecoff. Row number 2, we will see Jack Reitz, and on the outside, him will be Kenny Haight for the Heat 1 race.
All right, so as you were talking about the overall qualifying, so you had talking about the person that got our pole time. Sean Krawcheck actually got the second fastest time. You're talking about Justin Pentecoff in that 25. Got that third overall quick time. Jack Reitz with the fourth overall quick time. Cody Heathcock, who had a really good dirt street stock race, brings it home with the fifth fastest time. And Kenny Haight brings it home with the sixth fastest time of the night. So again, the way that these races are broken down is qualifying is just that. It just sets up your heat races. Your heat finishing order is what sets up your starting order for your A main. So counted as a double qualifying style event. You have to qualify to get your actual starting position. Kind of unique when it comes to dirt racing, but for those of us that are used to dirt racing up to this point, it's nothing new for us. We understand it, we live it, we breathe it, and we love it. So again, we were talking about the dirt street stocks. Jeremy, we were talking about the lines that we were expecting. We were expecting that midline to really come in and really prevail because we were expecting that low line was going to be the primary use around this track, shorter way around the track. And if the guys can get their cars hooking up down there, you can get that good bite off of turns 2 and 4 down the straightaways. But we were surprised throughout majority of the dirt street stock race that high line had as much speed as what it did. And Chris Hill, who ended up finishing runner-up in the dirt street stock race, led most of those laps, at least 25 or more of those laps, powering that car on that high side, which surprised us.
Yeah, you're correct there. Zach Burnett, the race winner for the street stocks, he tipped his hat to Christopher because he did not expect anything to go up next to that wall as we were talking about during that race and even before. So it blew his mind. And then when we talked to Chris, who finished second, that did run that high line, he was surprised himself of how well it was running up on the top. So everyone was surprised overall about how that line kicked up higher than normal. I don't know if they prepped the track different for this evening's events or whatnot, but the grip is there. So it changes my my perspective on tonight's big block modified event for the Nerd TV 35. I don't know. My predictions going in were different, and so I really don't know what to expect here. I know the car's a little bit faster than the street stocks. So the high side might actually kick up a little bit sooner than what I was even anticipating for the street stocks. I don't know. It's what do you think is going to happen with the line tonight?
I'm with you. It's going to be hard to say, but watching some of the drivers during practice leading up to qualifying, the way that they were running, is they were sticking to that midline, right around that midline. I have a feeling that if their cars are set up for it, I feel that high line is going to be a threat. It really is. These cars being the way that they are, weight-wise compared to the dirt street stocks, the horsepower and the speed differential that they have compared to the dirt street stocks, I think naturally they are going to go up there and they're going to be able to carry that speed throughout the corner. It's going to pose for some real wild racing as we are currently gridding right now, but we're going to find out here shortly. Got a couple heat races to get knocked out of the way. Moving on from there, we're going to find out here in about 10 laps or so exactly how this is going to start working out and how it's going to start playing out.
Yeah, a little correction here. It looks like the admin decided to skip over the second heat race. So we're going to have all the cars participating in only one heat race tonight, which is just basically just going to be a practice race for everybody. It'll kind of reset the grid there for the main event. Interesting call there, because we had about the same amount of cars as we did on the last race. So maybe they just felt like 3 or 4 cars wasn't enough to have the heat race going for the big blocks. So one field tonight, 7 cars. Jason Gunnels did not qualify, and his practice times were not the greatest. He didn't have too much track time, so actually I don't see him on the track right now. I wonder if he's having some car issues. But anyways, pace truck's about to roll off. So I got to reset that lineup too for you, because I was expecting the multi-heat race. So Jordan Gage and Sean Kracek, line number 1. Row number 2 is going to be Justin Pentikoff alongside Jack Reitz. And row number 3 will be Cody Heathcock with Kenny Haight. And if Jason does not take the track, it'll only be a 6-car race tonight, which is what we talked about a little bit on the last race too. Quality over quantity was the theme for last race in the street stocks. Then Jason did end up gridding, so we're going to have a 7-car field. Quality over quantity, which in my book is way better than vice versa. I'd rather watch 2 or 3 side-by-side packs of 2 or 3 cars rather than have a bunch of cars with a bunch of cautions. So looking forward to this heat race and seeing what they provide for us.
And I cannot agree with you more on that, Jeremy. I can watch the same 2 to 3 cars or same 2 packs of 2 cars run side by side, swap in position lap after lap for 35 laps, then watch 25 cars with 15 cautions for 35 laps, because this is dirt racing. Cautions laps do not count, which just extends the amount of time these drivers are out there on the track. So again, it can be tough with the way that everything does play out, but that mantra of quality over quantity worked out for the dirt street stocks. So we're going to see if it can't pan out and work for the big block modifieds. As the pace truck pulls in, Gage is going to lead them down to that green flag. Green flag flies. Gage hammers that gas and starts hauling some ass off into turn number 1 as he's side by side with Kracek.
With an amazing restart, but then Jordan after turn 1 and turn 2 just set sail and he took it sole position. Sean with a little bit of an inside run there, but loses on an exit. They single file all the way through the field at this point after the first lap. Looks like a little bit of a battle there with Kenny Haight and Cody Heathcock. Everybody else running single file at this point.
Yeah, that battle with Heathcock and Haight is side by side. That's exactly what we were talking about. You can look all over the track here and you can see some good, clean racing going on. As again, that racing still stretches back up to the front 2, being Kracek and Gage, both putting on a hell of a show. We're talking inches in between these cars, and these cars are not going slow through these corners, Jeremy. I mean, these cars are pulling triple digits as they haul off into turns 1 and turn 3.
Yeah, they are. This track is a little bit smaller, but if you get a really good run off these exits, the car speed is definitely there. Get into the triple digits, like you mentioned. They run a little on the inside line, a little bit surprising there to see. I'm not seeing them shoot up to the wall like I expected even. I guess the track isn't slick down there. It is knocking off some of their speed on the entry rather, but needless to say, it's side by side with a couple cars back there, but the top 2 cars are nose to tail, just only several feet between each other. Sean definitely put on the pressure here with a lap and a half to go in the heat race here. Jordan Gage still leading. Get really close there with Sean Kracek. entering the final lap here. They are nose to tail once again still. Sean moving up a little higher here, trying to hold line. It really gets out of shape. Definitely going to leave the open spot for Jordan as they come to the checkered flag here. Jordan will take P1. Sean Crotch take top 5. Cody Heathcock 6. And Jason had to park the car early, rounds out the field.
I tell you what, that was some good racing that was going on there. And as you were calling the racing up at the front, I was watching the race for third position. As Reitz was really working and racing the 25 at Pentecoff quite a bit. They were putting on just as good of a racing show as what Gage and Krocek were up at the front of the grid there. So again, that's what we were talking about, the quality of racing these guys have and the amount of respect they have for each other, that they want to pass, and they want to pass clean like that, and they can run all over the place with this. Now, the interesting thing is we're getting ready to grid, Jeremy, is that finishing order for Heat Race 1, because we only had one heat, that is going to be your starting order for the A main. So go ahead and run us through our starting order here.
Yep, sure thing. So Jordan Gage again, taking the top spot here, entering the main A main here tonight. Sean Krocek will be P2 on the outside. Row number 2 will showcase Justin Pentecoff. Alongside him will be Jack Reitz in 4th. Cody Heathcock will be in 5th place, alongside Kenny Haight in 6th. Jason Gunnell's done.
All right, so again, we've got some good racing going on here. So we started doing this in the last broadcast, Jeremy. We started to try to make our predictions, and I'll be the first one to go off. We've got some good drivers out there, some fast drivers, and it looks like that Gage and Krocek are starting off right where they left off last week, putting on a clinic of a race going on and pressuring each other. As much as what it is, I still have to lay it down with Krocek. I still feel that he's got that win coming up, and he's got it coming up soon, and I feel that tonight is going to be that night. As much pressure as he was putting on Gage, I think he's got it in as the pace truck is in. Green flag flies. Gas is down, and they're hauling some ass. And again, Gage and Krocek picking it up right where they left off again. Gage did get a cleaner start going in as Krocek seemed to slip up the corner a little bit on that initial start.
Yeah, Nerd TV 35 is underway. Jordan Gage actually had a big check up there entering turn 3 on the inside line. It really checked up Sean. He had to regroup. Still looks like he's going to hold second place. As his car shows to have a lot of speed. Jack Reitz, oh my, up to the top there. That was way too early. Like, he's really pushing that boundary earlier. Like I said, I had no expectations after that street stock race, so anything is expected at this point. But Jordan early showcase of great speed, tugging the lower side of the track. It's starting to really slick up. I'm really seeing that shininess, that shim coming off the track rather, on the very bottom groove. So running that too early might actually not be as effective later in the run once it gets looser and looser down there. Field looks like they're spreading out for the most part. A lot of single file racing going on right now. Looks like Kenny Haight's trying to put a little pressure on Cody Heathcock for that 5th position. But yeah, just about 2, 3, maybe 4 car lengths, it looks like, per car all the way through the running order.
And you had talked about going up as we were watching Kenny Haight took it way, way high. I mean, his ass end was scraping that wall there. A lot of these drivers are really pushing that high side early, and a lot earlier than what we were expecting. I mean, it started with the 777 of Reitz jumping up there real early and real fast. That I don't know, Jeremy. It may play out in their favor, trying to get that high line working in. You'd already talked about really starting to see that sheen going on down on that low side. That means it's going to start getting slick and it's going to start losing grip. Those drivers may have the right ideas. A caution is out on the track.
Yep, that's going to be for Jason Gunnels. He got really loose entering turn 1. Car slid up and hit the wall. I think he missed the wall there, but he did slow up right in front of the leaders, which made the admins call the caution because it would have affected the leaders if they did not. So it was a good call there for the caution. So it'll bunch everyone back up. But yeah, to get that high side running, I would expect if they're going to get it going, they got to commit early. get some type of cushion built up there, because if not, like, that inside with the leaders of how they're running it, like, they have that under control, so you got to get that high side going early for the late run, or you're just you're wasting time essentially up there. So good race overall, though. I expect a lot more side by side on this restart, since they already kind of figure out how their car runs and what line works best for them.
Absolutely. Now we are talking about this. You're seeing a Delaware restart right now, so you see the 0 of Jordan Gage is now out front in sole possession of that front line, and he has the 1S and the 777 of Kracek and Reitz, respectively, following back behind. So they get to, again, second place gets to decide what lane they want. In this case, it was Kracek electing to go on that inside line, which is no surprise. He's been running that inside line since the drop of the green flag. So it's going to be interesting to see as they're letting that pace truck get out. This restart is going to be on the leader. The leader is going to be the one leading them back. We are going to go on board right now with Kracek on this restart to see exactly what kind of restart he can get going into this. Again, last week, if you remember, Jeremy, Gage was the master restarter of all time that I have seen in the longest time in big block modifieds. He had to restart it, more than I can count on my hand. Again, I did math and learned math in the middle of a cornfield. That's not saying too much, but what I'm saying is he had to restart over and over again and got very good at the restarts. So I'm wondering if that's going to play a factor if we have any more cautions on if anybody else can try to get the jump on Gage.
Don't count out your math skills counting that crop field. There's a lot of crops out there, so the numbers get pretty high. But if you go over to Jack Reitz on that restart, oh my, again, like, I think his tail end was scraping the wall for a couple laps. He looked like he was going to commit, and then all of a sudden he looks like he realized that's not going to be the preferred line for his car anyway, so he's back down to the inside. He lost a lot of ground doing so, though, so let's see if he can have a long-run car. Sean putting a lot of pressure on Jordan. I expected him to be a little bit stronger here on this restart, and it's prevailing right now as they get really close. Almost made some contact there. Had his nose underneath him. Jordan run that lower line, just kind of cut off that run. Sean's going to have to search for a different line or a different method to get around him to maybe make that pass happen. Everybody else, though, really single file until you get to the very end of the field there. Jason and Cody. Cody actually falling off a little bit. He was top 5. That first segment of the race. Oh, and Jason up on the wall here. His car is out of control. He has turned around and rolled over, and his car came off the track, and he hit the tow truck button a little early there. It kept the race green flag, so that was a smart move on his part to keep the race going. Going back to Sean and Jordan here, just nose to tail, putting on a really fun show for us. Good, clean racing once again, and I'm glad to see this. Like, even in the interviews in that last race, they were really commending each other for the clean racing all the way around. So, yeah, Jordan here looks like he got some pressure. Sean's going to have to try something on the high side, I think, to get around Jordan.
Yeah, he's going to have to try something. But we're on board right now with Reitz, who has moved to that high side. And I tell you what, he is making some ground. He's getting a hell of a run coming off those corners as long as he keeps it off the wall, because the two were getting bottlenecked down trying to keep their cars on that low side. And one thing that I have noticed is Reitz is real smooth on that wheel. He's not sawing it as much as what we had seen Kracek doing on that low side. This could play a factor as long as he can keep his consistency up. We could have a three-way battle here for that top spot here in just a matter of laps.
I noticed in turn 3 and 4, his rear end did slap the wall just slightly and actually gave him a little speed boost, so to speak, exiting the corner. It's amazing what he's doing up there. It looks like Sean's actually realized that he's going to try and take away his line a little bit. Jack Reitz making an example out of everyone right now with showing that every line on this track is possible. Not expected, but man, his car is so sideways. It's like 45-degree angle entering the corner. It's quite amazing to watch, really. Jordan with this big slide job and messed up big time. Looks like Sean Crossick's going to take a 2-car advantage during the turn 3 there with a car length advantage. Jordan's struggling a little bit on the inside. Looks like I mentioned earlier, that inside line was just used up a little too early. So there's a lot of searching on the bottom for some speed. The outside is starting to really prevail.
Yeah, the outside is starting to really prevail, and like you were talking about, we're on board right now with Gage, and you can really see that sheen and that slick stuff in there, and he's having a hard time. As he slips up again, he's having a hard time keeping it down low, and that's just allowing Krocek to pull forward on that high side. As now, almost as I had stated it, you've seen Gage jump up to that high side. He realizes that low side there has lost its grip, so he's changing his line. He's starting to do some speed searching, trying to figure out a way to get back. As he slides back up again, he's really struggling with that low line, that being the 0 of Gage.
It almost looks like he's practicing the slide job or trying to do something a little unique there. He didn't get much practice time on the top side, so it's all new to him, at least for tonight anyways. Looks like he's trying to find, there's a little bit of that patch on the inside where it's not really used up, especially in turn 3 and 4. Looks like he's trying to use that for anything on the bottom as he can, as he does it again right here. His car, it seemed to be okay on the top there for that lap or two that he ran it. It just wasn't to his liking. That's why he's back to the bottom. And he's actually making a little ground up here on the middle of the corner, which is great. He's side by side technically right now with Sean, trying to make something work there. Jack Reitz in third, still running the very top. He's actually kind of fall off a little bit again as that top side's starting to slick up. So he might have to change his lineup a little bit there.
He might have to. The only concern I have with Gage running that low line is we've seen him slide up a couple times, and you very well may be correct, Jeremy. He may be practicing that slide job, knowing he might have to use that and utilize it in the closing laps of this race. As again, we have been ticking laps off left and right, and we're starting to come down to it. This race, as he slides up again, but you see it costs him in that one, and that's exactly what I was about ready to say. I'm worried about that and his ability to maintain that speed without slipping up, because Krocek is not going to let up. We know that from past races.
Yeah, he's got to get a little closer for that side job to work. He's just too far back, being 3-4 car lengths. There's no way that's going to work. There's just no way. So he's got to use that high side to get, just like right here. He closes it up about a car length, which is great. He needs to do that with 2 to go right now. He really needs to do it here in this next corner to set himself up here for the final time. It actually goes to the bottom and slides just a little bit. No grip there, though, on the exit. Sean just pulls by 10 mile an hour on that top side. Just really eats it up on the final lap here. Jordan giving one more shot here at the bottom. Hugging the inside wall side by side. Kenny's almost there to mess up, but nope. Sean Cross is going to take the top spot.
I tell you what, it's Green, and he was running the exact same line that the 1S of Sean Krocek was running. And if it would have been another lap or two, it could have been a completely different story. But I tell you what, that was a hell of a race from the 1S of Krocek, as you see him doing some victory donuts, a much-deserved victory. He has been bridesmaid a number of times here, and finally Gage was putting on a clinic. Fantastic race.
Your pick took the top spot. Jordan was my pick again. You mentioned right before the green flag drop that, at least to me anyways, that Sean had a great chance tonight, and he proved it. He did great. Just a really solid car there on the top side late in the run. And Jordan they had such a really good battle there for the first couple spots, and Jack at times showed some really good speed, and I wish he would have held that speed up there on the top side, because it would have been really awesome to see all three side by side. But Sean with a dominant car tonight.
Indeed, and yeah, it would have been nice to see that three-way battle. And there for a while, I thought that Reitz was going to be able to get it up there. But again, you seen Krocek was seeing what was going on behind, and he was seeing the ground that Reitz was making up on him, and he jumped up there and utilized that almost just as fast as we were even discussing Reitz taking that high side. And as we were on board with Reitz, Krocek made that jump from the low line to the high line, and he never looked back. So again, it was excellent racing there. We are going to go through our finishing results. Now, I remind you that these results are unofficial. These are just as they cross the line in iRacing. All race replays are reviewed by league admins to ensure that everything is done in accordance with league rules, and penalties may still be handed out at the end of it, which are done as an end-of-line penalty. So, yes, you can have a race winner if they did something they weren't supposed to and they didn't take accountability for it in the gentleman way. It can cost them with an end of. So, we had already talked about Sean Krawcheck taking that top spot, and Jordan Gage taking that runner up
close to the outside wall when I thought there was no chance of him doing so.
I don't really run big blocks that much. My teammate Sean was trying to talk me into this, and I'm a late model guy at heart, so I love ripping the top, ripping spoilers off. So I was just like, I caught Jordan and Sean on the bottom. I was like, I got to try something different. So I just put it up to the top and let her eat, and it worked for a lap or two, and then Sean and Jordan moved up, and they just have a lot more experience in these cars than me, and I couldn't, I don't have the speed quite yet in these cars, but it was fun to run the top like that here. I don't do that very often here.
No, I don't see a lot of cars do that, and I was really surprised when I saw it. Like, the first couple laps when you tried it, it worked great, and then, the middle of the race, it kind of faltered off a little bit. I thought it maybe got too slick or something. And then you tried it again, and you were making ground. You got right up to the leaders, and then Sean noticed what you were doing, or I don't know if you communicated with him or whatnot, but he went up to the top of the track with you, and then that showed him the way around Jordan, and that just made the race official for Sean at that point. It was awesome to see you run the top and whatnot. Like I said, it definitely surprising. So, how did you? How'd you get the car set up to do that, or what was your game plan to run the bottom?
I'm typically I like running the bottom here. I'm usually pretty good at the bottom at Lanier, but I knew that the bottom was going to be dominant for the beginning, so I was just kind of biding my time. I tried the top at first, and I was like, all right, it'll be there in the end. So I settled in. That's when I caught Sean and Jordan, and then when I caught him, I was just like, all right, I don't know what the car's going to do up top, but we're gonna find out. So jumped up top and made a little bit of progress on him, but Sean saw me up there. I was too focused trying not to pile this thing into the wall. But Sean saw me up there, and he jumped up there, and that was kind of the end of it.
I tell you what, you say that you were more of a low kind of guy here at this track here, but you proved us wrong right off the get-go. It's Jeremy and we were surprised right off the start, flying off into turn one. Man, you were ass dragging that wall all the way around, and we're like, what is going on, man? Look at this guy go. This is lap one, and they're already trying to get that high side going. So you were already prepping to try to get something going up there. With that said, you had fallen off a little bit when you seen Krawcheck and Gage start using that low line. Did you have any doubt in your mind that you would at least be able to reel them back in at some point in the race later on?
No, I was pretty confident on the bottom. My car skated really bad on entry, but center off, it was a rocket ship. So I felt confident if I hit my marks, I'd be able to reel them back in. But I wasn't sure if I'd be able to pass them. And I knew that the top would be there at the end. But whether that end was 5 laps from the end or 15 from the end, I wasn't sure. So I tried it probably a little bit too soon because these cars seem to hate the grease. But it was still a little greasy when I first got up there. But, I'll take a third place in some cars that I'm not always running in.
You say that you're normally a late model guy. You could have fooled me, man. That's one hell of a poker face you got on there. Because when we were on board with you, I actually went in-car telemetry on board with you when I start seeing you move to that high side after watching the race in action up for first and second, and seeing the ground that you were making up on the gyro cam it was astonishing at how well you were doing that. And like Jeremy said, it was almost like clockwork. The second I was on board with you, Sean, going into turn 3, made a sudden jump from that low line straight up to that high line right where you were at, seeing the ground that you were making there. It was astonishing, and it was awesome to watch. It's almost like a 90-mile-an-hour chess match out there dancing around the track. When you seen Sean move up to that high side, what was going through your mind at that point in time? Did you feel that your race was possibly done there, knowing that they have a little bit more experience in this particular car over, what you have in the late models?
I mean, being a racer, you never want to give up. So I was still pushing hard, drag. I was way too high. I saw Sean kind of just barely above the slick. Meanwhile, I'm ripping the spoiler off of it, but I kind of figured that I was going to end up third tonight. I felt really good in the heat, and then changed some stuff for the feature. But I did blocks all the time. I'm still fairly new to them, so it's fun to run with guys that are obviously better than you, and just motivates you to get that much quicker.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It does motivate you to get that much quicker. On that, I tell you what, I hope that you are a mainstay in these, because you were a blast to watch. It's nice seeing somebody going against the grain, so to speak, from what is expected, and trying to do something a little different a little early, because it catches everybody's attention, and it caught our attention, it caught the broadcast attention. So hopefully we see your name here more often each week, because you're definitely a blast to watch. But again, it's well-deserved third place podium finish. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out to? Any sponsors you'd like to give thanks to?
Oh, yeah. I got to thank all the boys over Vanderpool Racing, Sean being one of them. And I got to thank all of our sponsors, Jack Swax, Speed Shop 51. Had this car dialed in. I kind of messed up a little bit there, but car was dialed in the heat, and then I kind of messed up the setup a little bit. Rowdy Energy, Mike M Designs for making me a killer looking wrap, 11 Pointer Outdoors, Vanderpool Construction, all of our supporters over at Vanderpool Racing. And thank y'all for the broadcast, and can't wait to be back next week.
Hey, you know what? And we can't wait to see you next week. If the racing's going to be anything like what it was tonight, man, it's going to be one hell of a show. That much is a guarantee. Again, congratulations on your podium finish. It was well deserved, and it was fun as hell to watch. So again, that is Mr. Reitz. That is your third place finisher. Well deserved. Congratulations again, and we'll see you again next week.
Absolutely.
All right, so it looks like we also got Jordan Gage, second place runner-up tonight. Jordan, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Jordan, you were my pick again, and you were showing some hell of a speed there. Running that bottom, and it looked like it slicked up just a little too much there late in the run, and the outside, which blew my mind of how high everyone was able to run. Do you concur that the setup, or your car rather, was running just a little too loose there late in the run?
Yeah, I knew the top was going to come in eventually, just basing it off of the Pro Late race from last night. Yeah, the bottom slicked up, but we put the heat race set in, and it only had 5 gallons in, and I didn't have a crew chief tonight. That's what I'm going to blame it on, because I didn't put fuel in, so I had to just run the bottom and, manage fuel and settle for second or third, whatever it was going to be, but I can't take nothing away for Sean. Sean ran a hell of a race tonight, and he had a bad, fast car, so even if I think I put fuel in it, it would have been a hell of a battle up front.
Oh, for sure, yeah. You always put on a good, strong battle there for the race lead, it seems like. Talking to you again, looks like it's going to be a reoccurring thing here to have you on the podium with that kind of speed with each week that we're seeing you. So, yeah, that would definitely play a factor of you not having the right amount of fuel in the car for what you needed for the 35 laps. You might have had something, but you're gonna make sure you have your crew chief back with you next week, because if that's the missing piece, then the top spot might be where we expect you. I did see you though around the high side just a little bit. Was that just to try it out, or were you not comfortable, or was it just solely because of your fuel mileage?
Yeah, fuel mileage mainly. I went up there to see how much I was gonna burn a lap up there, and once I got doing it and I did some quick math, and I knew I wasn't gonna make it. I checked my fuel at the end, and it was like at 0.1, so we wouldn't have even had one more lap to go. So it's a good thing the checkered flew when it flew.
I tell you what, that's some quick math for sure. It's a lot quicker than I can do on my fingers and toes. So kudos and hats off to you to be able to do that while piloting the machine around the way that you were. Even though, as you had stated, that car was loose later in the run, the way that it was, and your hand was kind of forced that you had to run that low line. You still gave it a hell of a run and a hell of an effort against Sean there towards the end, even with him having at that stage in the race what was probably deemed the preferred line. I mean, did you feel that you were going to be able to give him a run for his money as well as what you did that late in the race, with all the circumstances being what they were?
Yeah, I mean, overall the car felt good, but I don't know, Sean's fast in these things, so I mean, if I had, everything lined up like I was supposed to before the race start, it still would have been a really good battle up front. Sean had a really fast car up top. Our car just wasn't really handling it actually as well as I was hoping it would. But I mean, we were losing a lot of left rear bite too as the fuel went down. But yeah, I mean, just gotta remember to put fuel in next time. The bottom was still pretty good. We were running it with all the money that we had, but it just wasn't enough.
And it may not have been enough for that top spot, but for second place it was. But I tell you what, you didn't miss it by much. It was a close battle all the way around. Now, this is common practice. Jeremy and I have been talking back and forth, and we throw your name around and we throw Sean's name around quite a bit when it comes to these big block mods because you guys are typically up there racing each other all the time, and you guys run each other so damn clean that it's just fun to watch. But what people don't realize is there's also a points battle going on here as well. With the way that things are going, I mean, are you going to be able to make a run for that top spot in points? Give Sean a run for his money? How are you feeling long term that this points battle is gonna play out?
Oh yeah, I mean, if we keep these finishes up, for sure we'll be sitting pretty good in points. But Sean has, I think, like a week or two on us now for races and whatnot. So we're kind of playing catch up right now. But I mean, we just got to keep coming out here and winning races and trying to win races, or settling for second or third every now and again is not bad. But we come out here to win, and it's going to be tough with Sean and especially the Reeds guy. I mean, they're fast, so not going to be easy.
And we wouldn't expect anything less. You don't want anything to be an easy win. We don't want any cherry picking, right? Because that's what makes it fun. You white knuckle it all the way to the end because you don't know how it's going to end. So again, it's fantastic race. I would not be disappointed with that second place finish. You put on a heck of a show, and you drove the wheels off of that big block modified for sure. Again, second place finish. I know that there's some people out there you want to give thanks to, some sponsors you want to shout out to.
Oh yeah, I gotta thank Octane Inc. We've been pretty busy this whole week. We started off Sunday with UMPs, and then we had 360 sprint cars and Pro Lates. We had Pro Lates last night, and I think we've had 3 street stock races this week. So everyone over here has been busy and busting their butt to get cars on the track and making sure the setups are all tuned in and whatnot. I was the Lone Ranger here tonight, but I don't know. I'm tired. I'm wiped out, and we still got 3 more days of racing to do. But got to thank those guys: Gage Farms, Gage Agronomy, Miller Family Trucking, 789 Designs, Brett Wheeler over at Ultimate Dirt TV for everything he does for the team, Kenny for the league and whatnot, and you guys for the broadcast.
We appreciate that, and we know that your sponsors and supporters appreciate that as well. Again, congratulations on that hard-fought second-place victory. Nothing to be ashamed on that. It was fun to watch for sure. It's always fun to watch you come out here and put a clinic on and put on a good show, Jordan. So again, that is Jordan Gage. That is your second-place finisher for tonight. We're going to let you go and celebrate, and you said you were tired. Let you go and relax. You still got some more days of racing. We'll catch you next week.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you. Sounds good.
All right, that was Jordan, your second place finisher, and it looks like Sean is available for the interview for the race winner. Sean, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Sean, winner of the Nerd TV 35 with the Big Block Modified Series here. How was that car running for you, man? It looks like Jordan had it early on, and then it looks like he talked about a little about the fuel strategy not really working into his favor. But it looks like after we saw Jack just blow our minds on the top side there, it looks like I know you maybe had some conversation with him before the race with the setup and whatnot, but your car seemed to work really well late in the run. How was that car up on the top late in the
I knew the car was gonna do okay. I kind of expected the track to really go to the one lane on the top. Obviously, Jack was kind of showing me the way up there for a little bit, and then I tested the waters, and it worked out. So, and I didn't really want to test the cushion because the cushion wasn't really tempting. I attempted it a few times, it didn't really work out, but I kind of stuck it down where the grip was, and I knew it was, and it worked out.
Yeah, it looked like you had the inside going there. It was really good nose to tail racing in the first half of that race, but then after you found the top side late in that run, it kind of just opened the window for you to make a good move around Jordan and take the top spot. The race, so how did you feel like the race was overall with everything? Jordan ran a really good, clean, solid, hard battle with you. It made a very good entertaining race rather for us to call the race for. And so how'd you feel like the race was out there overall?
It was pretty good. I knew I was gonna have a decently fast car, going into the night. I didn't know if it was very fun. Car kept sliding out on me. My car was too loose. It seemed like Jordan's car was a little too tight. Every time he would tighten up and car would kind of lock up, and I would make up ground, and then I would loosen up, and then he would make ground away from me. And yeah,
I tell you what, Sean, again, a hell of a race that you guys put on. This is a number of weeks in a row now that you and Gage have really put on some crazy racing that's just been fun to catch, and it's hard to turn your eyes away. And you found yourself winding up bridesmaid for the last couple weeks too, Jordan Gage. So it's first and foremost, we've been pronouncing your name wrong this whole time. We have been saying Krosick, and it's actually Krachek. And it's ironic enough, maybe that was the missing. How did it feel to finally get that win after finishing bridesmaids for the last couple weeks?
felt pretty good. I mean, we've been chasing that down for a little bit now, and I knew Jordan would always have a fast car, and I just kept trying and trying, and I guess tonight was the night I could actually get it on him, and I gotta give it to him. He races me clean every time.
He does. He does race you very, very clean on that. And likewise, you race him very clean. You guys do a heck of a job out there. We were actually on board with you a couple times watching the gyro cam with telemetry, just how close you guys were. I mean, you couldn't even walk sideways in between the space that was in between your front nose and the back end of his car while you guys were going power sliding 70 mile an hour through the corners here at Lanier. I tell you what, though, I don't know how you felt. I called you. Jeremy can vouch for me as well. I called you as my pick for the race win tonight. Nothing against Gage or any of the other drivers, but watching you two run and practice and in the heat race, there was just something that I felt like tonight was going to be your night. I don't know why. Just call it a broadcaster's instinct, if that's even a thing. If not, it is now. That tonight could possibly be your night. It's I mean, how did that feel when you jumped up to that high side? At that time, did you know that you had to stay committed to that? And did you know that that was going to be enough to try to eke you by to take that lead and hold that lead for the remainder of the race?
No, not really. I didn't know, going up there, like I said, I was testing the waters, and it ended up working. But I knew Jordan was going to keep tempting me and trying to slide me, and I got lucky with it being slicking up right there in the middle, and he just couldn't keep doing it. It kept ruining his car, and it kind of sucks for him, and I was happy that he didn't hit me or anything, and obviously he tried to keep it out from hitting me, and I knew he tempted me a few times on the high line, and I didn't know if he was going to get a big run and try to throw a slider on me. Can't really expect anything from him. He's unpredictable, and yeah.
I tell you what, I mean, and so is the story of dirt racing. It's very unpredictable. Again, you got that high line working in your favor. Not a moment too soon, because by the time you got it working, we were already counting down to about 6 laps left in the 35-lap A main event. So, again, it was the right timing. It was the right call. It was the right setup. The stars aligned for you, and you got that victory tonight in the Big Block Modified Series. I know we've interviewed you a time again here or there. I know that you got people you want to say thanks to, and you got sponsors that you want to shout out to. So go ahead and give it to us.
I gotta thank all the guys back at VPR. They're supporting me. Speed Shop 51. I wouldn't be here really right now if it wasn't for them, helping me out. Vanderpool Construction, Ritz Motorsports, Jack's Wax, and all the other sponsors. Rowdy. That's really all.
Yeah, I tell you what, again, that was a heck of a race that you put on. There's a heck of a race that all you guys put on. But again, it is your night to shine. You got that top spot. So once again, that is Sean Superman Krawcheck getting your Big Block Modified Series victory tonight at Lanier. We're going to let you go and celebrate with everybody else and kind of let that adrenaline wear off a little bit. But congratulations again. We're going to see you next week.
Thank you.
I tell you what, Jeremy, again, this series here does not disappoint. Time and time again, it doesn't matter the numbers we have. These drivers and the level of racing that they give each and every week is just astonishing, that they can hold these cars the way they do and as clean as what they do. I mean, we've seen slide job, we've seen high line, low line, we've seen, cars slip up the track and yet still not make contact. They want that win, but they want that win clean. And it's a heck of a show to watch this all over. And hats off and kudos to these drivers for the ability that they show each and every week out here.
Yeah, it brings full circle to what I was saying before even the street stock races. I'm learning from these guys how creative they get around the track, like bottom top, diamonding, slide job, whatever. Like, there's some lines I didn't know existed on some of these tracks, like up against the wall here. I've seen it go up there a couple times, but nothing like they were showing tonight, especially early on. Really, really makes me want to learn some of these cars and tracks a little bit better in a unique way that I didn't think was imaginable. But two great battles, both in the street stock and the big block cars, for the race lead for the most part of the night. It was thrilling to watch up on the booth side. I can't speak for you on that, but it sounded like we were both, really into it, and the the gratitude that the drivers give each other, especially tonight, in the interviews, like they're really showing their praise of appreciation of how clean they race each other, and it's really good to hear and see, and it's only gonna get better from here. It's the points battles tightening up. After 4 or 5 weeks of racing now, so it'll be really interesting to see how the points play out. Jordan came in a little late, but I think he's going to have a good shot. I think if he keeps running top 1, top 2, I think he's going to have a good battle in the points in the big blocks.
I would have to agree on that one there. I think the points battle is we are still young in this, I would say young in this season. We're working towards halfway through, so there's still a lot of racing left to go. But I do agree. I think the points battle, once we get down to the nitty-gritty and the end here, is going to be real close, and it's going to be one heck of a show. And Nerd TV is going to bring you every step of action from here to the end of the season. So again, don't miss out. These drivers come out here and put on a show. 1, because they love this sport. They love racing, and they love dirt racing. 2, because they know there's others out there that may not have the skill or ability like myself, but enjoy the hell out of watching these guys do what they do best. So again, as always, it's going to be a good show. And speaking of show, Jeremy, we always have to pay homage to those that have supported this league and make this broadcast possible each and every week. So we're going to have to throw a shout out to Mini Motorsport Doors. Again, you want novelty motorsports memorabilia, that's the way to do it. Very unique product that they have there. They do have 2 different door sizes. I do believe the prices vary. We'll have to spot check this, and I believe a small is $15, a large is $30. But again, a very unique product that they have there and something that is utilized here by the league owners of Over the Limit. So again, that's Mini Motorsport Doors. That's facebook.com/Mini Motorsport Doors. We also want to give a shout out to Hate Racing Unlimited. Again, that is the proprietor and the creator of Over the Limit. Without Hate Racing Unlimited and its patriarch, Mr. Kenny Haight, we would not be here today calling all the racing action that you've seen here and enjoying every second of it. So again, that's Hate Racing Unlimited. And Nerditudes. We are the sole broadcast provider for the Open Wednesday series, both for the Dirt Street Stocks and for the Big Block Modifieds on here on Nerd TV. Again, Nerditudes. If it's video game related, it's simulation related. It doesn't matter if it's new school, old school, any school. Nerditudes has got you covered there. Nerditudes, be sure you get your nerd on. So again, Jeremy, it has come to that time. We got to call a close to this. Final thoughts?
Unfortunate to see it go away tonight because I was having a blast all the way through, from the beginning to the end. I loved it tonight, man. Especially with the lead racing, how clean it was, especially like the caution count was a huge difference this week around, and it was just amazing overall. Like I said, I had a blast, and I hope going forward that we keep seeing more of the same. It's just a great time overall, and I hope everyone enjoyed as much as we did.
I agree. The green flag runs that we had in both series was amazing to see the green flag runs, to see the side-by-side racing, and not only that, but I mean, just it's almost an art form out there, the way these drivers can slide these cars, control these cars. These drivers are in control of these cars all the way through the corners. Even if their cars are sideways like that, they're still in control. It is a beautiful scene to watch these drivers, or if you want to call them artists out there, artists of the dirt, do their thing. It's really fun to watch, really fun to call. So again, on behalf of everybody for Over the Limit, on behalf of all of our sponsors and supporters, and on behalf of Nerd TV, I am Dustin Logston. Alongside me again, calling all the shots for tonight. Staying here and hanging out with me, along with all the drivers, is the legend, the myth, the man, Mr. J. Stan, Jeremy Stanley. On behalf of both of us and everybody at Nerd TV, we want to thank you guys again. Stay safe out there. Be clean. We'll catch you at the next track.
Good night, all.